More than 600 hours all year long on Eurosport 2.
Welcome once again to the Bowling Pedrables Centre in Barcelona for the 33rd International Trophy. And it's all part of the European Ranking Tour of 2011, the 12th stop on this tour. 170 bowlers, 26 nations, but it's all been slimmed down to these three guys. Top seed, the big man from the PBA, Mika Koivuniemi of Finland. He awaits the winner of this first game in our stepladder final. Robert Anderson up against Martin Larsson, the two Swedes, the two men from the same club, the same city, Cass. So they know each other well. Who's going to come out on top in this one?
Yeah, Simon, you're quite right. They're best of friends, as you say, playing the same team. Team Pergamon, up there in Sweden. Well, it's anybody's. It's a one-game shootout, really, between two of the top players in Europe.
So the two Gothenburg boys. Away we go. Robert Anderson to get this final rolling, just crosses that head pin, unfortunately for him, and doesn't quite get what he wanted from that first shot. Certainly in the practice balls, he didn't look as comfortable as the other two. Maybe just struggling to find a line on this condition, so spare ball out a little bit earlier than Anderson would have liked. 24 years of age, this man, so giving up a few years in experience to Martin Larsson, a man that we've seen in action before on Eurosport, over on the World Cup, and a very, very classy bowler indeed, Cass Edwards.
Just back from the USA, where he's played on the World Series of Bowling Tour. Played 6 events over there, and very successful. Cashed in every event he played in.
Yeah, that's not bad going. And a nice start, just a little hop and a skip over there on the right-hand lane, but sees it safely into the pocket.
Yes, Simon, Martin actually had a high finish of 6th in one of the World Series of Bowling events on the PBA, so that's a pretty impressive finishing position for a bowler from Europe. 6th in the Scorpion Championship he was.
Yeah, not a bad pattern as well to get a decent result on. Voice of Cass Edwards alongside me in the booth as ever, our Eurosport bowling commentator, and the European Tour, Cass, getting bigger and bigger.
Absolutely, Simon, yes. You referred to oiling patterns just now. 41 feet of oil these guys are playing on today. Brunswick lanes, Brunswick pins. And that's a pretty nice looking strike from Martin Larsson. Gives him 2 in a row to start with.
Very solid double then from the senior of the two Swedes involved in the first match in this stepladder final. Mika Koivuniemi of Finland awaits the winner, and has emerged as top seed. Very nice pinfall for him during the course of this competition. Bowling centre that a lot of players state as one of their favourites. We've already seen Brian Voss pick up the trophy here a couple of weeks ago. There's a series of competitions that run all very close together here, and it's good once you've got the bowlers in one place, you know, and especially in a sport where there isn't a tremendous amount of money about for things like hotels and travel. It's good to have everybody there and bowling all at once, and then you get a really good turnout, and that's what happened again this year for the 33rd tournament. Oh, that's not good. Tried to take it just a touch wider, I think, conscious of his first delivery, and it stayed out in the oil.
Yes, really did get hooked up there in the oil, didn't it? Just left the 1, 2, 4, 8 and the 10. It's a makeable spare, we call it a washout. But it's only 5 pins on a spare, so that's pins lost. It is a makeable spare.
Oh, it's very well made. How about that?
That's the way to do it, just showing off here live on Eurosport. Robert Anderson's actually ranked 6th at the moment on the European ranking tour. Played quite a few events, and his opponent, Martin Larsson, is ranked 15th at this very time, but he's played a few tournaments less.
He qualifies as a bit of a dude, does this guy. He's quite laid back. Fills out the player information forms always with a bit of a flair or a joke here and there. But reading between the lines, he's bowled here in Barcelona plenty of times now. Came into bowling, as so many players do, because of an interest through his parents. He states his favourite international centre is Munich. And I don't think he'll be feeling this is his favourite centre at the moment. Leaves a ringing 10, and Martin Larsson in complete control now.
Simon, interestingly, we've had quite a few international players here this week at the Catalonia Centre. Several players off the PBA have come over. Brian Voss is here, Mike Fagan and Amuleto Monicelli. And of course, Europeans, Stuart Williams and Mika Koivunaimi. So it's quite a bit of interest. We've had the Malaysian national squad have come over, especially their ladies team, because they're using this event as a warm-up for the Ladies World Championship, which is going to be held in Hong Kong later this year in September.
Yes, full marks to the Catalan Bowling Federation. They decided around about 3 seasons ago now to really start to promote this event. It's an event that's been played for a long time, and in a short space of time they've really built it up, and it's become one of the dates on the European calendar now. Nice shot again from Larsson. Not a lot wrong with what this man's doing. I think Mika Koivunaimi will be just a little concerned about how well Martin is bowling here.
It's just a fraction light, but I mean, they do say hit him thin, make him spin, and that's exactly what he's done. He's made 3 strikes in a row. So, yeah, he's quite pleased with that.
Yes, and I think already Robert Anderson knows the way this is going. It's not a foregone conclusion by any means. Still some time to go to recover the situation.
Well, the thing is, they've had about 5 minutes practice, both bowlers, and they've started, and Anderson hasn't had a strike in the first 3 frames, whereas Larsson's gone straight out the trap. Bang, bang, bang. Thank you very much.
This then, the 4-bagger. Beautiful. Came right back up the hill, and it came back with intent as well into that pocket. Hit at a lovely angle.
And that's quite an impressive lead after 4 frames as well. Great looking shot here from Larsson. Really getting lined up. He's had a great season out in the USA on the World Series of Bowling, and he's back in Europe and looking for more ranking points for the European Tour.
Both men with plenty of international experience. Larsson, as I said, the senior of the two, and does have just that little bit more experience at this level playing for Sweden on the international stage, and that does help. That does settle you down. Now that was desperately needed, and Anderson's going to have to strike it off the card from here.
Well, he's certainly going to have to string at least 3 or 4, possibly 5 to get together just to get back. But it's only a 10-frame game, just 1 game shootout. There's some high scores this week, but no 300 game. The highest game was a 299, bowled by the Malaysian Zulmazine Zulkifli, who's played in Europe several times before.
Yeah, that is amazing, actually. No 300 game, but it probably also dictates that the officials have made sure that the oil patterns are absolutely bang on. Really have tested the players. There is Koivunaimi waiting for the winner.
Well, Simon, there's been some high averages. Anderson's been averaging 237 over his last block of 8 games, and Larsson 240. Yeah, so it's pretty high stuff. It's just been that 300 game has just eluded them, I'm afraid.
That's more like it from Anderson. Yeah, I guess that's why Anderson's looking so down in the dumps after such great averages. The consistency deserting him when he most needs it in the first game of this step-ladder final. Just flighted that one out a little bit more.
Well, it's a double. It's his first double, so at least he's got line up on both lanes now after 3 spares.
Yeah, never say never, but it's in the hands of this man, Martin Larsson, to control from the front.
Yeah, he doesn't want to give anything away. He's got 4 great strikes, so if he doesn't get another one, he'd be happy with a spare. Oh dear, and did you see that one just sort of abseiled away to the right as it got caught up in the lane hole, didn't it? On the right-hand side there. Leaves himself to 210. It's a big split and possibly an open frame. And after 4 strikes in a row, that's really not what he needs.
Yeah, interestingly, Cass, on the left-hand lane, that's the angle that he chose for his last delivery, and it cut back in beautifully. Right-hand side, obviously slightly different, and it stayed out there. Out comes his globe, the spare ball. And that was a fine attempt at a very tricky spare. So not quite going Larsson's way in that last frame, but overall still in control of this first match. We'll take a short break there.
Tomorrow, snooker's top shots play to win down under.
What a shot.
They're working all the angles with a little extra focus, because it's the first ranking event of the season. Rich pickings on the table then, for a few solid days' work in the goldfields. Snooker's Australian Goldfields Open, tomorrow, live on Eurosport 2.
Welcome back to Barcelona and the Bowling Pedrables Centre. Martin Larsson on 116 as we reach the halfway stage of this first match in the stepladder final. 3 men coming through to the stepladder final, and it's a straightforward one-game shootout between Anderson and Larsson for the right to play the PBA star Mika Koivuniemi of Finland. So it's going to be a Sweden-Finland final, we know that much. And another strike for Larsson. That would have settled him just a bit, because I think there was a concern when he missed on the right-hand lane that will be the start of something. He's back in.
Yeah, you're quite right, Simon. Just a glitch there on the right-hand lane, but he's right back in the pocket, carries all 10, and that's his 5th strike off 6 frames. But Anderson really has to do some work now.
Bit of gardening for Martin Larsson.
Just going to put some tape in the thumb hole of his ball just to make it slightly more snug for that thumb to fit perfectly.
Yes, and right on cue we get a shot of Anderson really embedding that thumb. A lot of bowlers pop the thumb in first, make sure that's snug, then go the fingers. Now then, this man needs strikes and nothing else. That'll do nicely.
Well, since you mentioned it, Simon, he has just hit 3 in a row. So there was the possibility he's going to go straight off the sheet, but let's wait and see. There's been a few high and low scores this week, and someone did tell me it could be something to do with that atmospherics in the centre. It's been really thundery and lightning here down on the Costa Brava this week, so the humidity in the centre has been very, very high, and these things can affect the lane oil as the bowling balls move across. Makes the condition of the lane more difficult for the bowlers to know exactly where their ball's going to break and come up into the pocket. Anderson working 3 strikes in a row.
Big delivery here if he wants to stay in touch with Larsson. That is unlucky. He fancied that.
Well, he did. It didn't quite finish into the pocket with the angle. It was quite straight going into the 1-3 pocket, and that's why that 10-pin stood. Just needed a little bit more hook, I think. He's just got carried through the 5. Hasn't kicked that 6-pin out around the 10. So that can only be a spare after 3 strikes in a row. Hard and straight, takes it away nicely.
Now for Larsson, he comes back onto the lane that he's had a bit of trouble with, so we'll see what he does here by way of adjustment, but there's a real chance here for him to jump all over